Energy, which is the company that is working with Israel with the Karish gas rig, that rig that we've been talking about for a while, they have officially started testing gas flow at the rig. So they're testing the flow of gas from the rig to the Israeli network. This is basically like one of the last steps before they start full production. They said this could take a couple weeks to do. Originally, the start date was supposed to be about the end of September. Obviously, we're past that at this point, but they had issues with equipment and getting everything to work properly, and so it kind of delayed everything. There was no delay with production because of the agreement. Israel basically said that they were going to start production on the agreement, even if, or they were going to start production even if there was no agreement in place. But speaking of the agreement, this is where we get some big news coming from. First things first, air defense systems were turned on for the Karish gas rig, and the security cabinet authorized Lapid, Gantz, and Bennett. They granted them authority to manage a war with Hezbollah freely, so they would not have to go through the Security Council. They wouldn't have to go through the ministry. They would basically, the three of them would just be able to call the shots if a war was to break out with Hezbollah. The reason why this happened is because there was the agreement between Lebanon and Israel as far as the maritime border and all that stuff. The deal was like almost done. That agreement was basically done. They were just working on a few key words and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, this early last week, we got this weird, out of the blue, deal is basically in the garbage now, and war is about to break out. The military was getting ready to go. Hezbollah was sending threats that they're about ready to start launching stuff. That's when they basically set the wartime authorization for the terrible three-headed government leadership, if you want to call them leaders of Israel. Like, that just happened out of the blue overnight, pretty much. Because the reason why that happens, because you've got the U.S., which was kind of mediating this agreement. They were brokering the deal, and the one that they handed to Israel, they approved. Israel said, "Yeah, we're good to go on that. We'll take it." And then when they sent it over to Lebanon, they agreed with that, but then they wanted to add some more stipulations to it, and Israel immediately said no. And that's when things started to get really, 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 really bad. So Israel started to reject that. But just recently, yesterday or the day before, Lebanon said, all right, you know what? We're going to back down from the stipulations that we added. We're going to accept the original agreement as it was presented. And pretty much it was announced, it's not ratified yet, but it was announced that the agreement was pretty much good to go. It was all set and everything. Now, the criticism on this, which rightfully so in my opinion, is Lapid. I mean, he is getting slammed, again, rightfully so, for agreeing to this deal that pretty much surrendered about 90% of the maritime border in that area. I mean, he gave up all of the land just to get this rig going that they were disputing on, all of the border that they were disputing on. And I mean, it's a massive loss of not only energy spoils, all the different gas stuff. The word slips my mind. I can't remember what the word is. But all of the places for the gas drilling to go, I can't remember the word. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to pretty much remember all this off the top of my head, so I apologize. But basically, it's a massive loss of energy spoils, gas and oil and whatnot in the area. But it's also a weakening of security because it's actually pushing back Israel territory as well. And so Lapid is getting slammed for agreeing to this thing. Again, rightfully so for that. But looks like it's all set to go, and the Karish gas rig is going to basically be 100% Israel's in this deal that they did. Now, the deal, and I've talked about this before, but the deal is viewed as a cornerstone to open up the Mediterranean as a global gas titan, like a gas supplier. This is where the aspect of replacing Russia their market on gas. This could open up the door for that, which obviously Russia's not going to like. But this deal opens it up because these two countries that are basically at war with each other have agreed to a deal diplomatically to open up the door for the other countries in the area to settle their own disputes and begin production on this stuff to start, making profits, sending it out, shipping it out to people who need gas and whatnot. So because these two countries that are at war, they managed to do this, this could be a breakthrough for other countries to do the same. And so this is already starting to have a ripple effect on things. Adding on, because you've got Israel right now has allowed the Palestinian Authority to produce gas off of the Gaza coast via an Egyptian-mediated deal. So this is something that's been kind of in the works for a while. Israel has just refused. Of course, now you've got Lapid in there, who is basically cowered to this and said, yeah, they're going to allow the Palestinian Authority to start drilling off the coast of Gaza to get gas there. Now, Egypt was involved with this deal. They were the one that was mediating between the two. This gas field, that was the word I was looking for, gas field. There it is. But what it is this area that they're going to be drilling, it has basically 1,000 billion cubic feet of gas. And how it's going to work is Egypt is going to work with the Palestinian Authority on getting this field set up and production going. And what's going to happen is they're going to produce it there, ship it into Palestinian Authority territory, and then it's going to be sold to Egypt. So Egypt is getting down with the gas stuff. Also, something else to note, Energene, they're the ones that are doing the Karish gas field with Israel. They have made another gas discovery at the Hermes in the Mediterranean Sea as well, and so they're getting the groundwork set up to possibly start drilling there as well for the gas. So that's just going to be adding more onto the spoils for Israel, basically making them more of a gas titan in this, which could also be a giant hook to bring Russia in to attack them for Ezekiel 38. So definitely something moving over in that area, that's for sure. Now, when it comes to the same area with gas and Ezekiel 38 players, big news came out about a high-level Turkish delegation that traveled to Libya and signed a series of energy, security, and communication agreements with the GNU, which is the Government of National Unity. That's the government in Libya. And so Libya, if you don't know, currently holds a temporary government. Because of the wars that have been going on, the political turmoil, the different uprisings of different political factions, trying to take a hold of the thing, a new kind of temporary government that was backed by Turkey and Erdogan that new government basically came in and started bringing some peace, quote unquote, calm things down as much as they can be in the area for right now. But they have a temporary government, so it's not an actual established government. And this thing is basically, how Russia has their guys in Sudan? Well, basically Turkey's got their guys in Libya now. Interesting how they're all Ezekiel 38 people. That's worth noting. But because Libya's government is temporary, the types of agreements that were just signed are considered illegal, not just in Libya, but like international. It's considered illegal. A temporary government cannot sign these long-term agreements that affect other countries. So that's considered illegal. So they did something that they're not supposed to. How they got away with it is Libya's foreign allies like the UAE and Egypt and Greece were completely left in the dark about this meeting. They had no idea that this meeting was going to happen. They had no idea that Turkey was sending their delegation. They had no idea what was in these agreements. They didn't know. They were left in the dark on purpose. And they didn't find out until after they were already signed. And basically, this grants Turkey like immense amounts of power over not only the area of Libya, but also some territory that they've been fighting with Greece about. Now, the deal allows Turkey to search for oil and gas in Libya's section of 2019's self-declared Tripoli-Ankara economic zone. So you look at what's going on, or if you look at the map, there was a new economic zone set up for different countries in the Mediterranean Sea after 2019. I can't remember the exact date, but there was new territories, new borders that were shifted, maritime borders that were shifted around for each country. But this deal that was signed reverts back to 2019's, which cuts into Greece's maritime border now. So they're not basing these agreements off of what is considered the borders today. They're basing it off of what it was in 2019. And this is where the aggression has been coming between Turkey and Greece, and even France. France has actually been heavily involved with this as well, defending Greece. They've been going back and forth, attacking each other, not militarily, but politically, not allowing each other to drill for gas and oil in certain areas because Turkey recognizes 2019's territory and Greece recognizes 2022's territory. And so Turkey continues to try and barge into Greece's territory because they think that they own that area, and Greece is saying you don't own it anymore. And so what they did is they set up this agreement with Libya, who actually owned more maritime border, more maritime territory. And so now they signed an agreement to allow Turkey to go into what would be considered Libya's territory to search for gas when it's actually Greece's. So this is where that aggression is coming from internationally, where they're not recognizing that territory anymore. Greece is not recognizing that anymore. France is not recognizing that anymore. Crete is not recognizing that anymore, even though Turkey and Libya are now doing it. The Tripoli is giving Ankara, they're giving Turkey the rights to seek deposits in Greece's economic zone off of Crete. Like I said, the tensions are already extremely high with Turkey and Greece. And now you have Turkey, who thinks that they can just walk right into Greece's territory and start digging for oil, start digging for gas. Turkey's not going to appreciate that. Now, this is also important to keep in mind that these are NATO members. Greece is a part of NATO. France is a part of NATO. Turkey is a part of NATO. There are already aggression towards each other. Now, with this agreement that's going to be happen, which is technically illegal, there is going to be massive amounts of aggression that could start splitting NATO. Now, what were we just talking about with Russia, with the proxy war in Ukraine? What is the point of what they're doing? Not only is it to bring the economy down of the West, but it's also to crack and split NATO. This is another aspect of that where this is going to start cracking and splitting NATO. This isn't... Things are getting extremely bad for over there. This is why... This is just, you look at Turkey, and even though they're technically recognized in NATO, they're really not a part of NATO. They are fully on board with Russia and Iran with this stuff. They're just kind of working it from the inside. They're kind of the inside job on this. So with all of this stuff going on, you've got Turkey and Russia's relationship that is doing dandy by what they're going. And then you've got Turkey and Libya's relationship that is also going dandy as well. These are all players a part of Ezekiel 38. This is huge. This is massive. And so there is now, because of the illegal deal, there's more threats of international war happening, but now there's more threats of civil war that could break out in Libya because of what this temporary government is doing as well. So much for that piece.